Our son's pretend doctor, Dr. Nice, was actually his way of telling us about his pediatrician's inappropriate exams. I found the drawings while cleaning out Noah's backpack on a Wednesday evening in October. Crayon sketches stuffed between spelling worksheets and permission slips. The first one showed a stick figure child lying on a table with legs spread apart. A larger figure stood between the legs, drawn in dark purple crayons so thick the wax had torn through the paper. The word checkup was written across the top in Noah's careful 6-year-old handwriting. My hands started shaking before my brain fully processed what I was seeing. I pulled out the next drawing. Same stick figure child, same position, but this time the large purple figure had a speech bubble that said, "Dr. Nice says be good." The third drawing showed the child crying, tears drawn as bright blue streaks down the face, and the purple figure holding something that looked like a medical instrument. Or maybe not. Maybe something else. My stomach dropped so fast I had to sit down on the kitchen floor, surrounded by crumpled homework and applesauce packets, staring at my son's attempt to tell me something I'd been too blind to see. Noah was upstairs in his room playing the game he'd been playing for 3 months. The game where he pretended to be Dr. Nice giving checkups to his stuffed animals. The game I thought was adorable and encouraged because it showed he wasn't afraid of doctors anymore. We'd been taking Noah to Dr. Lawrence Pemberton for 6 years, since Noah was born. Pemberton had delivered Noah at Mercy General Hospital and transitioned seamlessly into being our pediatrician. He was 58 years old with silver hair and reading glasses that hung on a chain around his neck. He wore colorful ties with cartoon characters and kept a jar of lollipops on his desk. Parents in our neighborhood recommended him constantly. He had a 40-year career in pediatric medicine with 0 complaints on his record. The waiting room walls were covered with thank you cards from grateful families. He'd won a community service award from the mayor just last year for his work providing free medical care to underserved children. My husband Daniel and I had trusted him completely, had never questioned leaving Noah alone with him during examinations, had been relieved to have such a competent and caring physician for our son. We'd been taking Noah for regular checkups every 3 months because Noah had been born with a mild heart murmur that required monitoring. The murmur had resolved by age 4, but Pemberton recommended continuing quarterly visits through age 7 just to be thorough. We'd agreed because we wanted to be cautious parents who didn't miss anything important. So every 3 months, we'd drive Noah to Pemberton's office in the medical plaza downtown, wait in the cheerful waiting room with the fish tank and the toy corner, and then watch Noah walk back to the examination room with a nurse while we stayed behind to handle insurance paperwork. Standard procedure. Every parent did it. The nurse would call us back after the examination was complete, and Pemberton would give us a summary of Noah's health status. Everything always looked great. Noah was developing normally, hitting all his milestones, completely healthy except for some seasonal allergies. The change in Noah had been gradual enough that we'd rationalized every piece of it. He'd started having nightmares about 3 months ago, waking up crying. Daniel and I had attributed it to starting first grade, a new teacher, adjusting to a longer school day. He'd become more anxious about bedtime, asking to sleep with his door open and the hallway light on. We thought he was going through a normal developmental phase. Lots of 6-year-olds were afraid of the dark. He'd started playing the Dr. Nice game around the same time. He'd line up his stuffed animals and announce he was Dr. Nice and needed to give them checkups. He'd make them lie down and spread their legs. He'd touch them in ways that had made me vaguely uncomfortable, but I told myself he was just imitating what he'd seen at the doctor's office. Kids processed experiences through play. The child development books all said so. When I'd asked Noah about Dr. Nice, he'd said it was a game about a doctor who was really, really nice to kids. He said Dr. Nice gave special checkups that were secrets between the doctor and the patient. He said Dr. Nice knew how to make checkups not hurt if you were good and stayed quiet. He said Dr. Nice took pictures to remember how good you were being. Every single detail should have been a blazing red flag, but I'd heard each one individually, separated by days or weeks, and I'd interpreted them through the lens of a parent who trusted the medical establishment and assumed my child was safe. The day before I found the drawings, we'd had Noah's most recent checkup with Pemberton. Daniel had been traveling for work, so I'd taken Noah alone. We'd arrived at 3:30 p.m. for our scheduled appointment. The waiting room had been empty except for one other mother with a toddler. Noah had been unusually quiet, clinging to my leg instead of playing with the toys like he normally did. I thought he was tired from school. The nurse, a woman named Beverly who'd worked with Pemberton for 15 years, had called Noah back at 3:45. She'd asked me to wait while she got his height and weight. Standard procedure. She'd said I should wait in the reception area because Pemberton was running behind and the examination rooms were small. She'd said they'd call me back it was complete. I'd hesitated for just a moment because Noah's hand had tightened around mine and his eyes had gone wide, but Beverly had smiled warmly and said Noah was a big boy now and did great during examinations. That's when I made the biggest mistake of my life. To see the full story, click the link below or go on my channel.